Every game you've played, regardless of what platform it was on, or whether it was a first-person shooter or farming simulator, was made with a game engine. This is a software specifically designed to be used for the creation of video games. When deciding to create a new game, the developer has a couple of options to choose from. A. Start building an entirely new game engine from the ground up. Or B. Use an off-the-shelf engine that they or their team are either already familiar with, or one that they can learn on the fly. For all but the most wealthy devs, option A is off the table due to its immense cost and time commitment. Even for teams given a blank check, the new engine they end up making could still be worse off than the off-the-shelf solutions in the end. A great example of this is 343's Slipspace engine, which, despite its lofty promises when originally teased, has revealed itself to be an unoptimized mess that is more difficult for new hires and contractors at 343 to pick up compared to, say, Unreal Engine. So much so, in fact, that it was reported earlier this year that 343 would be moving to Unreal Engine 5 for future projects. That's gotta hurt given they wasted 3 years developing Slipspace. To be fair, there are also examples where having a custom-built engine pays off, such as Rockstar's Rage engine or Capcom's RE engine. For smaller studios, this is completely out of the question, and an off-the-shelf solution is the only way forward. Luckily, there are a decent number to choose from, each of which have their own strengths and weaknesses. The way that the makers of these engines get paid is different for every engine too, and must be carefully considered before being chosen. Let's take Unreal Engine for example. It costs nothing to download and get started, and once you release your game that was built using it, they won't ask for any royalties before the game makes $1 million US. It's important to note that this is on a per-game basis, not per company. So you could be a solo indie dev that makes multiple games that bring in a few $100,000 each, and Epic won't ask you for a penny. Even after your project surpasses 1 million in revenue, they take a measly 5% cut of any revenue beyond 1 million. So even then, you get the first $1 million royalty-free. Notable games made with this engine include Fortnite, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Octopath Traveler, Kingdom Hearts, Tekken 8, and countless other examples. Now, let's take a look at Unity Engine. It's extremely common to see indie games made on Unity, and it is generally considered to be a relatively easy engine to pick up and learn. Seriously, with a couple YouTube tutorials, you could be off to the races making your dream game, and many have done just that. You've undoubtedly heard of at least a few hit games produced with this tool, such as Cuphead, Fall Guys, Subnautica, Beat Saber, Hearthstone, and even the cash printing machine that is Genshin Impact, all made with Unity. So how about Unity's pricing structure? Well, Unity's CEO himself famously stated, quote, "There's no royalties, no effing around," unquote, and compared Unity 5 to Unreal's monetization strategy of just taking from the most successful games. The issue with this statement is that it appears as though Unity has decided to do a complete 180, as I'm sure you've seen in various headlines this week. And when you look into the specifics, it's actually pretty ridiculous how far they've decided to go to squeeze every last penny out of the little guy. All of these changes are slated to go into effect come January 1st, 2024. For starters, the threshold to be charged by Unity is $200,000 and 200,000 installs, which is 1/5 of Unreal's, who also don't have the install number stipulation. Next, they've announced a baffling runtime fee, which means the developer is charged every time someone installs their game. Imagine the following scenario. You own a gaming PC and a Steam Deck. You buy a game, then install it on both of your devices. The developer is now on the hook to pay 2 fees, even though you purchased the game once. Now, imagine their game comes to Game Pass, a service that pays the developer a flat fee to offer their game to millions of players. A small enough dev could potentially bankrupt themselves if the game became popular enough with this kind of service. Charity services like Humble Bundle would also be negatively affected. Usually devs give a few thousand keys away to Humble Bundle at no cost. Now, no developer is going to want to give thousands of keys to bundles raising money for charities if it means they will cross the threshold for being charged by Unity. What's most egregious is these changes are retroactive, meaning they affect not just upcoming Unity titles, but all existing games made in the past. We've already seen countless developers vent their frustrations, and some are even choosing to bow out in response to these changes. The developer of the smash hit game Cult of the Lamb has announced they will be delisting their game from stores entirely come January 1st, so if you've been meaning to pick that one up, maybe now is a good time before it's too late. I should note here that the current CEO of Unity, John Riccitiello, wahoo, wasn't someone to be trusted in the first place. This guy used to be the CEO of none other than EA, a publisher hated the world over for their bottomless greed. Back in 2011, he made headlines after proposing a model where players in online multiplayer shooters, such as Battlefield, who ran out of ammo, could make an easy, instant, real money payment for a quick reload. That's right, microtransactions for reloading your gun in a first-person shooter. He also made sure to sell a bunch of his Unity stock, but prior to making this announcement, real classy there, John. Unless Unity quickly realizes how big of a misstep they're making here and does a total 180, I doubt anyone is going to stick with their platform. Hell, even if they do pull off a 180, no one will ever trust them again anyways. I feel really bad for all the devs being put in a tough spot right now. We're entering uncharted waters, and the future looks bleak for existing projects built with Unity. I'm sure Genshin Impact will be fine, but small to mid-sized games might not be. As always, I'd love to hear what you think down in the comments below, especially if you have experience in game development. Do you think Unity has just dug their own grave? If you like this video, please consider subscribing to the channel. It would mean a lot to me. My goal is to hit 1,000 subscribers, and when I do, I'm going to do a full game room tour you won't want to miss. Until next time, thanks for watching.